I want to invite you to come on a journey with me. And I've been wanting to make this invitation for a while. Um, I guess I've been developing the courage and maybe some of the clarity to make this invitation, maybe for the conditions to be right. This isn't how I meant to do it. But then time imposes itself, and the world imposes itself, and what is right is so unexpectedly different from what you imagined right would be. But here in my living room, very plain, very honest, no no fancy bells and whistles and tech. Maybe this is actually the perfect way to talk with you and invite you to join me on a journey, one that I think we all must take. And that journey begins with recognizing that we are missing something. We are missing something big, something that we need to thrive, something that we need to survive. And COVID 19, this coronavirus, this pandemic, this global moment that we are all sharing, it is just the latest evidence, overwhelming evidence that we are missing something big. One, when it comes to understanding and solving the big problems in the world. Despite all of our beautiful rhetoric about transformational change, exponential technologies, impact investing, purpose-led capital, all of it has led us right here to where we don't want to be. So we're clearly missing something about the big problems in the world. And we're also very clearly missing something big when it comes to our own personal needs and fulfillment. It's, I don't know if you've had this experience, living with the consequences of this pandemic. So much has been taken away from us. And yet, so many of us, as a result of that, have found things that we had been missing, that we had forgotten. So there is this strong sense that we are missing something big when it comes to the world around us and the world inside ourselves. But there is also a strong sense of missing something, not in our problems, but from our possibilities. Because I think it's important for us all to remember that this isn't the future that we wanted, any of it. And this was not the future that was supposed to arrive, that we are entitled to, that we said was possible, that I said in my last book was possible. And I thought I'd bolster this with an illustration. You have to forgive me. I really can't think without a whiteboard marker in my hand. But very simple picture of the time we live in right now. Here is the time. And if this axis is human flourishing, then I'm even going to pick green, right? This is the curve that we are supposed to be on, that we said we should be on, because we are winning the war against poverty worldwide, because life expectancy, at least until very recently, was booming right around the world, because there are more women and girls in education now than any other time in human history. And all of this said that this is the greatness for which we, in our time right now, are eligible. We are supposed to be here and now. And yet, this is where we actually are, right? This is the here and the now. And there is this giant gap that has opened up between a world that is all too familiar to us and a better world that none of us have ever seen, none of us have ever been. So this is also the sense in which we are missing something big, something enormous from our lives. So that's where this journey starts, with all of us recognizing that we are missing something. And it is so difficult, once you feel it, to shake that feeling, to shake the evidence. I don't know if this qualifies as evidence. And to shake the suspicion that if we don't find that thing that we are missing, then we are sooner or later, and probably sooner, going to end up right back where we are right now, suffering from the latest avoidable crisis that we failed to avoid, following a model of leadership that pretends to know the way but leads us right back here, and exposes itself as having been lost as we have been. And so this is the moment to declare, I think, that we don't want to spend our whole lives stumbling from one avoidable crisis to the next, from one crisis to another crisis that prevents us from ever exploring those possible futures that might have been. We want to spend our lives exploring those possible futures. And to do that, if you agree with me that yes, we must do that, then there are two questions that are fundamental to getting there. And the first is, what are we missing? And the second is, where do we find it? And that's the journey that I'd like to invite you to join me on. So let's consider this chapter 1, and I'll get to chapter 2 as soon as I find the words.